In 1919, the first ever KitchenAid was released, the Model H5. This thing is a behemoth, it's very heavy, and it was also very expensive. But if we fast forward to 1927, we can meet its successor, the Model... Oh, G, it's not supposed to look like that. No, this really is the Model G, and it was both cheaper and lighter. Now, this was shipped to me by a fan who wanted it to go into my collection. Don't worry, we'll get to these down the road. Now, unfortunately, this was just not packaged properly for shipping, and as you can tell, the head just fractured right off of the neck. Oh, don't be sad, we can fix it, but first I want to show you a really cool feature of this machine. I love that old crusty texture. This machine's definitely showing its age. Oh, what's this? Listen, I know what you're thinking. That hole looks like the perfect size to just slide in your glass fuse. That's right, take a look at this badge. Use 8 amp fuse. Well, this one happens to be a 15 amp. Go big or go home, baby. And this glass fuse literally just twists into place. There's its contactor right there. We're just gonna go ahead and twist this in. This thing is so cool. It's made by General Electric. Now, this glass fuse performed the function of any fuse. If there was ever an overload, this fuse would pop first, thus making it to where the rest of the machine won't get damaged. Now, unfortunately, with this neck being damaged like it is, we won't be able to use that neck, so no more glass fuse. But that's okay, because if we lay this machine down and then remove these 4 screws, it'll allow us to remove this base. Oh, look at how absolutely crusty this thing was. Look at that. Ugh. I mean, even the plastic coating on this thing has just started to degrade. Look at that. Now, this is the really interesting part. So this is the neck of a K5SS, which is this machine right here. By the way, I have several of them in my showroom. And this neck of the K5SS right here is actually the same size, so it receives this base perfectly. But there is a twist in this story. And that is that this bowl right here for the Model G, which is nearly 100 years old, also fits perfectly on these arms. You may have guessed by now, but also if we remove these screws, of course I can't unscrew them until I get all the actual crud out of this crevasse. Watch this crud break loose, it's so satisfying. Oh, yuck. And now that we've removed those screws in that fractured portion of the neck, it's now ready to mount together, and it does so perfectly. And there we have it, the KitchenAid Model G in all of its glory. Now, I always find it really interesting that KitchenAid uses a lot of the same parts throughout their lines. But it makes a ton of sense because it saves them a lot of money on tooling during the manufacturing process. Now, the Model G here was in production for 20 years, starting in 1927 and ending in 1947 when they came out with the Model N50. Now, these machines are virtually the exact same thing. Look how similar they are. They use all the same bowls and attachments, and really the only main difference, they made some slight changes to the body, and they got rid of that glass fuse. Now, there were some other machines that were in production between these two machines, including the Model F and the Model A, which we'll dive into on the next episode of the History of the KitchenAid Mixer. Until next time.